In this video, I will show you how to open Jupyter Notebook and how to use Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook is a free and open source web application that is used to create and share documents that contain live code, equations, visualizations, and narrative text. For example, if we scroll through this Jupyter Notebook, we can be able to see narrative text. For example, this one that shows the instructions in the assignment. We can also be able to see some codes like this one and this one. We can also be able to see some visualization like this one and this one. We can also be able to see some equations in the narrative text. For example, this one and this one and also this one. The beauty of Jupyter Notebook is that it allows users to compile all aspects of a data science, machine learning, or deep learning project in one place, making it easier to reproduce or present the project. In this tutorial, I assume that you have installed Python and Jupyter Notebook in your computer. If you have not installed Python and Jupyter Notebook in your computer, use the link in the description below to install Python and Jupyter Notebook in your computer. Now, let me quickly show you how you can open Jupyter Notebook. First, you go to the search bar and you type Jupyter with a Y, and then you click the Jupyter Notebook icon that appears. After a few seconds, Jupyter Notebook dashboard will open in your browser as a new tab, as shown. Once you have opened Jupyter Notebook, you will realize that in addition to this Jupyter Notebook dashboard that launches on your browser, there is also a Jupyter Notebook server that pops out. You should not close this Jupyter Notebook server if you want to use Jupyter Notebook. Now, let me tell you the purpose of this Jupyter Notebook dashboard that launches on your browser. This dashboard serves as the home page for the Jupyter Notebook. Its main purpose is to display the Jupyter Notebook files that are in your current working directory. You can also use the dashboard to sort the files in your current working directory by either name, last modified, or file size by clicking the name button or the last modified button or the file size button. I mostly sort the files in the current working directory by last modified because I want to see the most recently created Jupyter Notebook file at the top of the list. Now, let me show you how you can create a new Jupyter Notebook file. To create a new Jupyter Notebook for Python code, click the New button from the dashboard and then select Python 3 kernel from the drop-down menu. A new Jupyter Notebook will open in a new tab. The first thing to do after creating a new Jupyter Notebook is to rename it. To rename a Jupyter Notebook, you simply click the title text box at the top of the notebook next to the Jupyter Notebook, this one, and then you simply type in a name into the text box and click the rename button. For example, my first Python program, and then you hit rename. Once you have created a Jupyter Notebook, you should be able to see it from the dashboard. For example, this Jupyter Notebook is what we have just created. Apart from creating new Jupyter Notebook, you can upload Jupyter Notebooks and other files in the current working directory by using this upload button that is on the Jupyter Notebook dashboard. For example, let me upload a Jupyter Notebook file that is on my desktop by clicking this upload button and then selecting the file by going to the desktop and then clicking the file, and then I click the open button, and then on the dashboard I click upload, and then the file will have uploaded on my current working directory. If I want to open it, I should click it and it will open in a new tab. Now, let us talk about the structure of a new Jupyter Notebook. A new Jupyter Notebook that you have just created consists of only one cell. A Jupyter Notebook cell normally has two modes. The two modes are the edit mode and the command mode. To enter the edit mode, you can simply click inside the cells editor area like this with the mouse pointer, or you can press the enter key on your keyboard like this. A cell in edit mode is always indicated by a green cell border and a prompt showing in the cells editor area. You can only type inside the cells editor area when the cell is in edit mode. For example, let us type Olum Bootcamp. It has accepted because the cell is in edit mode. When you want to enter the command mode, you simply click outside the cells editor area like this, or you press the escape key on your keyboard like this. The command mode is always indicated by a blue cell border. Now, let me show you how you can add more cells in a Jupyter Notebook. To insert a cell above a particular cell, you can go to the Insert menu, you click it, and then in the drop-down menu, you click Insert Cell Above like this. It will add a cell above that particular cell. Alternatively, you can simply press the A button on your keyboard like this. When your cell is in command mode, it will add a cell above that particular cell. To add a cell below a particular cell, you simply go to the Insert on the menu, you click it, and then on the drop down menu, you click Insert Cell Below. It will add a cell below that particular cell. Alternatively, you can press the B button on your keyboard when that cell is in command mode. It will add a cell below that particular cell. If you want to make a copy of your Jupyter Notebook, you simply go to File on the menu, and then you, on the drop-down menu, you click Make a Copy. It will make a copy of your Jupyter Notebook like this one. If you go to your Jupyter Notebook dashboard, you'll be able to see the copy that you have just created. You can also download your Jupyter Notebook in whichever format you want by going to the file on the menu, and then you go to Download As. So if you want to download as a HTML, you will click this HTML on the drop-down menu. If you want to download it as a PDF via LaTeX, you will click PDF via LaTeX. If you want to download as a Python file, .py, you'll click here. And if you want to download it as a, say, Markdown, you'll click Markdown. If you want to delete a particular cell, you can use these scissors on the toolbar. For example, let me delete this one by clicking here. You can also delete this one by clicking the scissors. To add cells below a particular cells quickly, I normally use this plus button on the toolbar like this. So by pressing it, you can add a lot of cells quickly below a particular cell. Now, let me show you how you can easily copy a particular cell. For example, if I want to copy this cell, I will select it and then on the toolbar, I will click the copy selected cell button and then I will go where I want to paste it and then I click the paste cell below. It will paste the cell below that particular cell. Now, let me show you how you can write a code in a cell in Jupyter Notebook. To write a code inside a cell in Jupyter Notebook, you have to ensure that you have selected code from this drop-down menu. This is because a cell can take 4 different types. A cell can either be code, markdown, raw, NB convert, or a heading. So, for you to write a code inside a cell in Jupyter Notebook, you have to ensure that you have selected code from this drop-down menu. For example, let us write a code that prints our name. First, we have to begin with a comment, a code that prints our name. And then the syntax for printing in Python is the word print in lowercase, and then because our name is a string, we have to put in between these quotation marks Olum Bootcamp. Now, if we hit run from this button, we can see that the name has printed below the cell. Now, let me show you how you can add a narrative text inside a Jupyter Notebook. Let's say you want to add a title above this cell. First, you have to go to Insert and then you click Insert Cell Above. It will insert a cell above this cell that you had selected. Alternatively, when this cell is on command mode, meaning it is blue, you can click A on your keyboard and it will insert a cell above it. Now, if you want to write a text inside this cell, you have to change the cell type to Markdown from this drop-down menu on the toolbar, like this. Now, you are free to write your text inside this inside this cells editor. For example, I'm writing Jupyter Notebook tutorial. When I run it, you can see it has become a text. If I want to make this text a level 1 header, I'll have to add a hashtag followed by a space. When I run it, you can see it is big, indicating that it's a level 1 header. Also, you can see it from the content bar on your left. I've pasted some narrative text in this cell to demonstrate to you how you can add level 1, level 2 up to level 6 header inside a cell. To add a level 1 header, you only need to add one hashtag with a space in front of the text that you want to make it a level 1 header. If you want to add a level 2 header, you will only need to add two hashtags with a space before the text that you want to make it a level 2 header. Up to level 6, where you add 6 hashtags with a space in front of the text that you want to make it a level 6 header. Now, if you run this cell, you can see that the level 1 header is the biggest, level 2 header is the second biggest, and it keeps on reducing up to level 6 and level 5, which are the smallest. And also, you can observe that only from level 1 to level 4 appears in the table of content. Also, this text that I've pasted here demonstrates that if you want to make a particular text italics, you need to add a single asterisk before and after that particular word. For example, in this code, adding a single asterisk before and after Jupyter Notebook makes this text italics. For example, if I run this code, you can see that this Jupyter Notebook is italics. To make it bold, I need to add two asterisks before and after Jupyter Notebook. And then this Jupyter Notebook word in the narrative text, it will become bold. This text also indicates that if you want to make bullet points in Jupyter Notebook narrative text, you need to add a hyphen or asterisk before with a space before that particular word. For example, adding this hyphen with a space before live code, equation, visualization, and narrative text, it will make it bullet points. For example, if I run this one, you can see that is bullet points. Also, if I change this one to asterisk, you realize that it will also make it bullet points. For example, if I change all of them and then I run, you can see they are still bullet point. If I need to number them, I need now to put a number with a period after it. 2 with a period, 3 with a period, 4 with a period. If I run this code, you can see now it has become a number instead of bullet points. I've pasted this code here to demonstrate what to do when you encounter an infinite loop. For example, because you have forgotten to add this incrementing operator in a while loop. For example, if you run this code, you'll see that it will print 1 to 10. Now, for example, let's say you have forgotten to add this particular cell that is incrementing the value of I, and you run it. So this star, you'll see that it will print 1 an infinite number of times. When you encounter such an infinite loop, you need to restart it, otherwise your computer may hang after some times. To get out of this infinite loop, you need to go to kernel and then you say restart clear output, and then it will pop this thing which you need to hit restart clear all output. And after restarting, you'll see that all the cells will clear and the output will also go. So you'll have to run everything from the beginning. Now, if you add this incrementing operator that you had omitted and you run it, you can see now it has run the loop 10 times and printed 1 to 10. I've pasted this code here to demonstrate the second way that you may need to restart your Jupyter Notebook. For example, if you run this cell once, it will prompt you to enter your name. For example, if I enter my name Peter and hit enter on the keyboard, it will be fine. However, if I run it twice, it will hang, and the sign that the Jupyter Notebook or this cell has hanged is this star. So if you do something like 2 plus 3 and you run, you will not get an answer because you have not put an input in this cell. To solve this problem, you have to go to kernel, restart clear output like this. And then when you come to this cell, you run, you put your name, and then if you run now this cell, it will run as normal. Now, let me show you how you can visualize your data in a Jupyter Notebook. First, I've created this code to create the data set X and Y, which have 5 data points each. Then I've pasted this code here so that I can demonstrate how you can uh, create a line plot within Jupyter Notebook. First, we have to run this cell to create the data points. Now, if we run this, you can be able to see that it has created a line plot in Jupyter Notebook. This line plot has the x-axis, which is labeled, and also it has the y-axis, which is labeled. Also, it has a title. So you can also create a plot within Jupyter Notebook by either first importing the library, and then you tell Jupyter Notebook that you want your plot to be within Jupyter Notebook using this code. Now, let me thank you for watching this video. I highly appreciate. If this video has been helpful to you, kindly hit the like button and also subscribe to this channel so that we can reach to many other people.